Well, hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. This is an unusual time for us to be meeting. But we have Mary Jones on deck. We've got Blessed2Crochet ready to do another show. I figured I'd do a little brief intro. This is a part of our Ripple series where we're trying to build a community of connection. Yeah. And without further ado, I will let Mary take it away. I hope you guys enjoy. Um, I think in the future I'll say that after I wait for people to show up. But anyways, hey Mary,
Hi, Captain. How you doing?
doing well. She's all yours. The boat's in good hands, I'm sure.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the lifeboat and welcome to Blessed to Crochet. I hope everybody is really doing well today. Happy Sunday. Hi, Jason P. and Ben Bacon Bits and Layla. Miss Sunrise Dawn, how are you doing? Kristen Melinda, how is everybody doing today? Hi, Tara Smiling. My sister, Curious George, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sarana, if I said that right, Christmas, welcome. We are still, I'm not able to, Spanx is kind of in the background putting up comments if he chooses to. Ice Autumn and Cherry Cola, I love that name. So we're working on that. We kind of have a solution to that. So I decided to come on we kind of did it yesterday and just run so you all could kind of get to know me. I wanted to encourage everybody that in our church we did a Bible study, and there was a book, and there was a lot of good content in the book. But the one thing that really spoke out to me in that study was that it said it took 200 hours to really get to know somebody and make a connection and start building those connection with each other. Layla, my fibromyalgia is doing pretty good today. So thank you very much. I'm having a good day today. And so I thought that was really interesting to think about 200 hours. We have spent 200 hours doing some things that really are just there, maybe sitting and watching and clicking the remote or doing things that really don't make a tremendous impact. But if we realize that 200 hours, I know I sat there and I thought of that today, and I thought, just from January till now, it's almost the end of April. I cannot believe how much time has just gone by. I've probably spent, an hour during my day and an hour at night getting on the lifeboat and having the time with hi Mystdragon and Brazy Girl, having the time with Tommy. And so it just in that alone, it's 120 hours. So we have an amazing connection with Tommy, and some of you have been here for a long time. That's a lot of hours. And now we're building that connection with Captain Calhoun and me. So please, I know you all will give everybody time to build that and learn and get to know all the ripples that are coming beside. Was just thrilled to death. You all were amazing yesterday. Hi, Rhonda. I got off. I was just flying high. All I wanted to do was do the lifeboat and Tommy and Captain Calhoun. Nothing but proud, and the rest of you too, because you all mean so much. And I was so just thrilled to death that I was able to do that. You all enjoyed it, and I hope to just continue to be able to assist and give back. That is my goal. I want to give back to a channel that became real. So we're not going to get into too much heavy stuff. I want you to have the opportunity to get to know me. I have my mic this color and my necklace, so my lighthouses know that I'm streaming from both sides. Hi, Mona. Yeah, 200 hours. Let's think about that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, can we put some ones up for Miss Sunrise Dawn? Got some bad news about a good friend earlier. We will be praying for him, or good thoughts or good vibes, whatever you do. Let's put some ones up, please. But I want to have the opportunity to have everybody just kind of get to know me. Anybody is willing to ask me any questions if they would like. I was raised in Florida. In Fort Pierce, Florida is actually where I was born. And I was raised in Florida for majority of my life. I have been through several hurricanes. I'm not very fond of going through a hurricane, but I have been through them. And I lived in Florida till 2019, when we chose to move to Ohio to be closer to my husband's family. And so we moved, myself and my husband and my daughter and my mom, my dad that was living at the time, all the way up to Ohio. That was quite interesting. I will say that we just chose to take all of the back roads going from Florida all the way to Ohio. Part of my fibromyalgia is anxiety. That is something that does come with fibromyalgia for some patients. And I can tell you, getting in a car is not this girl's friend, especially on the highway. But we went a lot of the back roads. We never took the highway. And we saw some amazing things along the way. We took 2 weeks to move. We were closing one house and getting another house. So there was just a lot of things juggling. And we just saw the most amazing things and amazing views along the way. We stopped off in Helen, Georgia. Goodness gracious, it's beautiful, little town. And just kind of has a German influence. It is a beautiful, beautiful town. And then in 2022, we moved again further up in Ohio as my daughter was about to get married. And so I'm a mother. I am also a wife. I'm a crocheter. And I also, I love life for the most part. And I love connection. It has just become such an important part of my life. And I'm an only child, so I don't have any brothers and sisters. So I don't know what it's like to have a brother and sister that, kind of relationship. But I certainly have gained a lot of brothers and sisters on this boat. And I'm very thankful for that. Dear friends, and that we can certainly at times choose our family. I probably won't come very often with earrings on, but I wore these earrings today. They're little disco balls because I wanted to give you all encouragement today. And one of the things that I sent my daughter one day was, a disco ball is hundreds of pieces of broken glass, but together to make a magical ball of light. You aren't broken. You're a disco ball. I thought it was so cool, y'all. We're all broken, and boy, if this isn't the place to come and say, "Hey, I'm a little broken," and but a disco ball is all put full of broken pieces. But boy, when you shine light on that, does it sparkle? And it shines very brightly. So you know what? We're not broken. We're disco balls. So I just love that. And I thought, I'm going to wear my little disco ball earrings tonight and let you all know. And I thought that was such an amazing saying that I just absolutely loved. My favorite color is purple. If you haven't figured that out from my shirt yesterday. And my favorite food is Greek. I was raised with a grandfather that was Greek and a grandmother that was Scottish, if you want to know the kind of, combination there. The Scottish and Greek interaction. And so I was very heavily influenced by the Greek culture. When I was little, my grandfather used to say to me, Mary, can you say grandpa? And I said, no, I can't. I tried, and I guess I couldn't say it very well. And he said, can you say papu? Well, papu in Greek is grandfather. Papu Li is little grandfather. But papu is grandfather. And I said, papu. And he said, well, that's fine. He said, I'm a papu. Well, my grandmother, she was a doozy. And she said, in Greek, grandmother is Yaya. She said, I am not going to get that because in my case, it will come out yo-yo. So she became Nana. But that was the Scottish part of it. And I was raised in very heavily influenced by my grandfather's family and the Greek food and the Greek heritage, and just such wonderful, wonderful memories. We attend a Greek festival every year, and it's the highlight. And I go and I get to enjoy the Greek food, which is amazing. It's my comfort food. I can tell you that right now. I don't live far from the prison that the Shawshank Redemption movie was filmed at. That's why I sent Tommy the cup, because that was one of his favorite movies. So that is, not very far from where we live. So we have a dog. And if you go to my channel, you'll get to see a couple of shorts of Mocha. Mocha is actually my daughter's dog that we are caring for right now. So I don't have a cat in a basket, but I do have a dog that sometimes does come on my lap, but I won't do it tonight. But she is a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. She was a foster fail. And she was actually abused in her previous homes and then came to us, and we have given her lots of love and lots of real just caring and love. And she's slowly, coming around. She still has her little quirks, but we love her. I love Staffies because no other dog I think I've ever had. And I did do a little thing on my channel talking about all the dogs that we've had, and just what I kind of learned from them, because I thought it was interesting. I'll probably do the same thing again here. And you just look in those staffy eyes of a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and it's just like you look right into their soul. And then they come and they give you a little head tilt, and it's kind of like they know what you're saying. So unfortunately, I'm allergic to cats. So I love cats, but cats do not like this girl's allergies. But I can handle dogs. So we have a Staffy. So if you're on and you hear a dog barking, it's Mocha. But she has several videos that she has become the superstar of my shorts on my channel because she gets them likes going. So my favorite movie is probably Snowball Express. It's a really old movie, but it's a Disney movie, and it's probably one of my favorites. I love that movie. I like a lot of the older movies, but that's one of them. Of course, I'm a big Elvis fan, so we know that, right? And my song was Mary in the Morning. That's one of my favorites. I wonder why I like that song so much. So please feel free to ask me questions. I really want you all to take the opportunity to get to know me. And, there's going to be times that I'm going to come on here and we're going to talk about some heavy stuff, fibromyalgia and certain things. But there's sometimes that, boy, we just need to come on and do exactly what the Lifeboat was created for, which was connection. Connection really becomes a powerful tool. And everybody that's in the chat, everybody that comes on board, realize that there's a Lifeboat Facebook group. And that Facebook group is there so you can make additional connections. It is just so important to get through our everyday life. When something comes up, or you're having a real hard day, or you're struggling, if you are dealing with fibromyalgia on a daily basis, you're already dealing with pain physically. And so then if something happens that's just adding to that, stress for me is something that I really avoid like a plague, because that will affect my pain level. So if I'm going through a very stressful time, like getting on the highway, don't like it, um, and traveling, it adds stress to my body, and then it makes my body hurt more. So, we all need connections and friends and places to talk with. And that is one of the reasons why I have the Lighthouse Beacons. It's why the Lifeboat group is there. So, there are resources there. We've got the Discord, which I'm still learning um, on a daily basis. And so I'm trying to pay attention kind of to two chats because I've got the Lifeboat over here and then I've got over here. So, and I don't know if we'll figure it all out, right? We're just going to have some fun. I was raised with my mom. Her name is Kathy, and my dad, of course, was Charles. And I was raised, overall, I can say I was very blessed. My dad struggled with anxiety, and so it's something that I think for me, where I come from, a lot of my content is I do a lot of life experience stuff. Um, I do things from what I've kind of learned and situations I've gone through, and I find out that a lot of times you can connect. You don't have to sit there and fix a problem. When I was going through raising my daughter, I didn't necessarily want anybody to fix the problem or I wanted them to understand what it was like to be a special needs mom, but I didn't want them to try to fix it. I just wanted them to come beside me and say, I've got you. I'm here. You're not trying to do this by yourself. You're not trying to do this alone. Even though I had my husband and I had my mom and I had my family, friends mean the world in such a powerful way. And when you haven't had that, and then once you have it, you realize life is awful boring without friends. And we're all unique. We're all different. Um, thank goodness there's only one of me. I don't know how you all feel, but we're all different. We think differently. I know that I can be a little sensitive. I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. And my husband said this morning to me, I'm really glad you're sensitive because it's why we've been married for so long. He said, and I truly did marry my best friend. And he's like, I'm glad you're sensitive. Your heart's there. And I tend to be sensitive, and sometimes it can be a good thing, and sometimes it can be a hard thing. But it did help me when I raised my daughter. As somebody who raised somebody with autism, they tend not to have a lot of empathy. It is something you have to instill and train and teach them because they're born without the lack of it. And it's just something they have to be taught and they have to learn. And I found out being a little bit more sensitive than I would have liked to be. I kind of could tell when things were happening or when she was having a difficult day or a difficult moment. I could tell because I was much more in tune with her emotions than I would have been if I hadn't been the way I was. Um, so, um, so I know for myself, there we go. Sorry, but the chat stopped. Now it's working again. I was sitting there going, wait a minute. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Mischief Manage. Now it's working again because it stopped and I'm like, what happened? It's working again. So, that's something to talk about is, how do you kind of deal with that? What's your love language? That's really kind of important too. Mine are words. That's why yesterday meant so much to me when everybody just, man, y'all just lifted me right up. And that's what we need to do. We're here to lift each other up. We got to be our disco balls, y'all. And I will tell you, the amount of people that told me that this floppy trophy, those that didn't see it yesterday, was awesome, and that we needed to keep the floppy trophy, was amazing. I got such a hoot out of that yesterday. I'm probably going to switch the heart to an anchor, or maybe I'll put the anchor on the other side of it and that way. But yeah, communication is the key. But that was just a lot of people like, don't get rid of the floppy trophy. But you know, that's something to talk about is you know, you know, how do you deal with that if you have somebody in your life that, man, they're just a little sensitive, or you feel that they're sensitive and you're not, and how do you kind of do that? How do you kind of balance that? I mean, I've heard all my life, Mary, you're just too sensitive, and I'm like, would you all please stop telling me that? I know I am, but I'm thankful for it. I can look back and say thank you, because I had to raise a child that needed just a little bit more on the sensitivity level. Make the top of the anchor a heart, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out something. But everybody's like, don't get rid of the floppy trophy, and I'm like, but you all just lifted me up, and that's what we have to remember. This channel is about taking people and lifting them up. You know, I don't follow the zodiac signs very much, but I am a June baby, and I've already told Captain Calhoun that on my birthday, I'm reserving a spot because I want to have a party with all of my lifeboat family. And he said, "You got it." I thought, boy, that'll be for me, just having a birthday party with my crew. Hi, Sweet Liberty. Thank you. You know, and like I said to Captain Calhoun, I'm just here to help. You know, everybody that's coming on as a ripple, I think we all need to realize we're coming to give back. And yes, getting my channel where people would sub to it and it would grow and all that, because that's wonderful. I'm not in this, y'all, for the likes or the subs. I'm in it just to give back. I'm in it because when I sit in this chair, or I take my phone and I go on my channel and I'm going places, or I come on my from here on my channel, I'm doing it because I just need that connection. And it has just been so meaningful to me that I'm just happy to give back. If you want it, I just don't pay attention to that. That's my husband. I just don't pay attention to that. But you can certainly tell me what it is, and if that helps you understand me better, then that's fine. 9 a.m. You adore the floppy trophy. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of it now. I do a lot better on blankets, a lot better. I will also come on and tell the story of how I met my husband, which was really kind of unique. You know, how we met. I am very grateful. He's just been that rock. We've been that rock for each other. You have a doctor's appointment tomorrow? I'm sorry. No fun. Thank you. But I'm not looking for, that's all going to come in my channel. My channel will grow. I'm just giving back to the boat. And, Captain Calhoun said he had people coming to him today. And I'm like, well, somebody had to pull the trigger and come on yesterday. And I'm glad that I was able to do it. I don't know if I told it yesterday, but I did work at Claire's for 3 years of my life, and I was in management position. And I have there's some ears around Florida that have I did the piercing in the ears. And oftentimes we would have the girls, the little ones, that come and get their ears pierced. Well, if we did the one ear, they may not stick around for the next one. And so oftentimes, I'd do it. I was in a management position. I would have a sales associate there, and I said, okay, I need your help. And we do it at once. And the girls knew between us, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, but I'm not going to wait till 3. I'm going to go 1, 2, and we're going to do it. And then I look at the little girl or whoever it was, and I say, 3. Because oftentimes if we would say 3, they'd want to hop off the chair. The point of it is sometimes we don't need to wait till we get to 3. Sometimes we need to do it 1, 2, and just go. And oftentimes go on faith and just go for it. And sometimes we need to do it nervous all the way. Everybody was like, you were a bundle of joy yesterday. And I was like, it was a nervous bundle of joy, but it slowly worked itself out. And I got off and I was so glad that I just did it. Brazy Girl says, I love too much, care too much. Then I get told I'm too sensitive. Well, I am me. Brazy Girl, you need to be proud of who you are. You need to sit in being proud. My husband will say, you know what I do? I get in the mirror and I just look at myself every day and I smile at me. And he said, I don't do it for anybody else. I do it for me. And it helps. It helps him. My favorite color is purple. It is my favorite color. Jason and P says, I don't miss retail management. I moved to a traffic engineer management, and it's much better over there. Oh, Christmas. Oof. I have yet, of course, there's not malls around. There were malls. That was the thing, but there's not malls like there were then. Nope, I don't go into malls very often. I did enough years in the malls being in the Claire's, and I was done. Match says, I let anxiety keep me from anything. I won't have done much of anything. Absolutely. Think about it. I don't do well in the car. I don't know why. And that's fine. 7th, you arrived just when you were supposed to. I don't know why. I don't know why. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to get out of that. It happened shortly after I got diagnosed with my fibromyalgia. But you know what? I still have to get in the car. Thankfully, I have a husband that is loving and caring enough to realize that if I can't handle the highway, he doesn't push me to go on the highway. He will take an extra hour and go the back roads because he cares about me. So that is one of the things we're going to talk about is how do you caregive for somebody that you don't see? If somebody has fibromyalgia, it's an undiagnosed, unseen chronic illness. If I have a cut and I have a Band-Aid or I have a broken leg, you have a cast, you can see it. If somebody has a wheelchair, you can see it. You can't always see it. You can't always be able to see it. Now, my husband will sit there and he'll say, yep, you're getting a migraine. I can tell it from your eyes. But it's not always something that's visual. And people need to realize that. And how do you caregive for that? And live with somebody or love somebody going through it and having to go through it and thinking, how can they still be tired? Well, they can be. And so that is also something. Another thing is I know a lot of people have talked about it in the chat throughout the time that I've been on the lifeboat about dependency versus addiction. I am dependent on my medication. I do not feel bad about that. It keeps me from being able to get up and move around. I take it responsibly. So people that have to do that, and that's all part of my journey with fibromyalgia and all the wonderful doctors that wanted to just tell me, yep, it's all in your head, or try this and try that, and try this and do this and do this. Doesn't always work. And so that's something to be able to have the opportunity to talk about. And there's sometimes I'm not going to know what to talk about. And I know people in the chat will help me with that. They will help me. Rhonda says, my mom always knew when I was having a fiber flare-up by my eyes too, Mary. Not so much if I'm having a fiber flare-up in my eyes, but if I'm having a migraine, you'll be able to tell it. It'll show. And sometimes I don't always know why or when I'm going to have them. Oh yes, Jason P. I know the hours. Oh my goodness, we used to have to work so long in the, and you worked at Claire's, and you know, you go into work going, I can't listen to that song again. Please don't play that song again, because it would be on the radio. And it would be like, I can't go and listen to that song for the 10th time again. So that was like, you know, I was like, I can't listen to that yet again. Please don't make me listen to that for the 10th time. Oh my goodness. Some of the songs, especially the ones that were really, really like popular, they would play them on the radio all day long, and you would go. And then of course you would have Christmas music for like 6 weeks for 8 hours. So, believe me, it was the first thing when everybody left the store and I could close the door. It was the first thing I turned off. Yeah, I have a story. Yeah, disgruntled customers. Boy, do I have stories about that. I actually was in the Claire's, and I had a couple of 2 girls, and I was watching them, and they were stuffing stuff in their bag, and they started going out the store. And I said, ladies, you all need to come back in. Well, the only one I could really hold was the lady who I saw, the teenager, putting the stuff in the bag, because I didn't see the other girl do it. It was just her. So I had the girl that I saw go in the back office, you know, into the thing while I was calling the police to get them there because they had shoplifted. And the other girl left, and then she came back. I guess she had a guilty conscience. And she went in there, and she sat down with her friend, and I just looked at them, and I said to the one girl, I said, just so you know, that's a great friend you have there. She was willing for you to take the entire rap for the entire thing. And they went into different department stores. They had bags of department stores. They had gone to JCPenney's and all these other department stores, and gotten shoplifted for the day. And I was the one that caught them on a busy Saturday of all things. It was like, oh my goodness. Layla says, my whole family knew if my fibromyalgia is flaring up because I got quiet. You know, fibromyalgia is like autism. If you've met one autistic individual, you have met one autistic individual. Kristen and I are going to come together and talk, because we deal in that same realm, and I've raised one. And so I think it will be interesting to have that dialogue, but it will show people that you have met one autistic individual, you have met one. And not every autistic individual is the same. And not every fibromyalgia patient is the same. I deal with different things than maybe Layla deals with. And some medications work for me when other medications don't work for anybody else. Rhonda says, I love Christmas music, but if you're here sitting on the clock of the bay, I have to turn it off. Never again. Years of it in the dye store I worked in. Yep. I love Christmas music, but y'all hear it 8 hours a day. Forget it. Jason P says, so I get gout from red meat and beer. I tell people at work that I pulled a muscle when it flares up. I don't need them knowing your medical situation. It's yours. You do what you want to do. Sweet Liver said, good for you, Mary. Nowadays here in California, you get in trouble if you stop and say anything to someone who steals. is insane. Up to $900 worth of stuff at a time. No kidding. It's ridiculous. Match says that's why I love small stores and cafes. It's not the same degree of rush and auto overstimulation. Mischief managed to deliberately. That's so unbelievable. And Jason, by the way, that sounds painful. The thing I tell people that are not dealing with somebody with autism or have not experienced it, go into the your grocery store and just listen. Listen to how many sounds you are experiencing. Somebody with autism will hear all of them. They will hear the carts going. They will hear the cashier's registers going. They will hear the music playing. They will hear the refrigerator, the refrigerators making sounds. They will hear people talking. They will hear all of the things all at once. I can tell you, I've done that. And I can go into a grocery store, as we know as moms, right? We've gone into grocery stores going, I have 2 hours, no kids, and I'm just going to enjoy the moment. I've done it, right? And probably dads have done it too. They're at the grocery store and there's peace and quiet. And I can block things out. Well, somebody with autism cannot do that. And I've done that going, I just got in here 5 minutes ago. Time to leave yet? I can't wait to get out because all of it's coming to you at once. So I totally understand it. Don Glove says, I currently work with people with intellectual disabilities, and I agree each one is unique individual. You have to meet them each where they are. Absolutely. Zelda says, hi, Mary. I'm so grateful that you're speaking honestly about fibromyalgia. It's hard to explain to people, as you say, it manifests different things. Everyone, yes. It does. And, here's my feeling about it. People may come in and say, this is the lifeboat. I don't need to know about fibromyalgia. I don't need to know about autism. She's been through this or that or whatever it is. But if we don't educate ourselves on it, I'm going on to My Other's Keeper on next week, I think, the 28th, I want to say. It's a Thursday. And I'm going to be talking about multiple sclerosis. Well, my grandfather had multiple sclerosis. I don't know what it was like for him in his body, but I do know what it was like to caregive for him and see him. I can tell you that my papu, which is grandfather in Greek for those that may have just stopped in, was the sweetest, most kindest man you would have ever met. He got up out of bed, couldn't move, below his neck for, probably 40 years of his life. No, it was probably about 25 years of his life. And he got up, and his job every day was to put a smile on your face. He loved to sit in that chair, in his wheelchair, and watch me swim in the pool. He had the greatest laugh in the world. Oh my goodness. He had an amazing laugh. And he would laugh so hard, his whole body would just shake. And it was amazing. He loved laughing and he loved talking to people. And he just wanted to make you happy. And if you know about somebody that has and gets out of bed with multiple sclerosis or any kind of like that, they will get up and they get up with a lift, and you think, okay, they're going to get up with a lift and they're going to be fine. Well, they get up on a lift and they actually sometimes will go into a spasm and they will get stiff as a board, and it can be very, very painful. And so I had to see him go through all that. But he just wanted to laugh. He didn't stop getting in his van and people taking and going out to restaurants and just having a really amazing time. Low mood type of shopping. Lights are low and no music is great. That's a great idea. I know they do hours at Walmart, I think, for people that have autism. And I think that they should do that. We didn't take my daughter to Chuck E. Cheese because it was too stimulating. It was too overwhelming. She couldn't have it. Crazy girl, I had no idea what fiber feels like, but I can tell you about benzos. Do you have 12 hours for me to explain? Not diminishing your physical pain. Anyone with mental pain often invisible. Absolutely. My grandmother, I did a talk with my other's keeper on my channel because my grandmother suffered from bipolar. And so I did a discussion about that. People would see my daughter and she looked fine, and she was, but when she was having a moment, people didn't understand it. And, she looked perfectly like, normal, but she was having an overwhelming moment and it was difficult. Miss Sunrise Dawn says, my friend that I mentioned earlier, Kevin, the one, they had emergency surgery, had MS, and also one of the sweetest, funniest people I know. Well, I will tell you a story. Those that know Disney World, my grandfather, we went probably about every 2 years. We would go to Disney World, and he, as a person in a wheelchair, he just loved to go. And we would go up to Disney. We lived in South Florida, go up to Disney World, and he wanted to ride the ride that looks like a big golf ball. Okay. And they did not have it wheelchair accessible. And so he wanted to ride. He was going to ride this thing no matter what. They stopped the ride for my grandfather. And these two gentlemen picked him up out of the wheelchair. He was dead weight at the time, and put him in this ride. Well, he wore these polyester pants that had plaid on them, and they were slippery. Well, so was the seats in the ride. And so he got in the seat. My mom was on one side, my dad was on the other side, holding him up. And you could see him just sliding down the ride because his pants were slippery. Well, when it was time to get off, he was smiling. My grandmother was behind him. She was just a nervous wreck. I'm sure she didn't enjoy any of it. Well, she behind her, they got him out. And it was time to get him out. He had one of those spasms. He went flat on his back, and his pants went down. And my grandmother was mortified, and my grandfather was laughing in hysterics. She said, "You're never going on this ride again." He said, "I don't want to. I just wanted to go on it once." And I thought, how many often times do we just not do things? I'm like, here he is. He's going into a spasm. He's going flat. They thought he was going to be dead weight. He wasn't anymore. He had gone flat as a board, and his pants went down, and he's laughing. He just looking back, enjoying the fact that he did this and he rode this ride. And he was like, it was one or done. And he was going to do it no matter what. And it was just, my grandmother was not happy. Oh, she was so mad. He just was like, we're going back to the hotel room. And she was furious, but he was he loved it, and he was laughing, and he was just having a ball. Von Love says, we have a movie theater out here that is special viewing for people with special needs. Low lights, free to stem, and quiet space when needed. Absolutely. We need more of that. Original Anne. Hi, Mary. I've heard about you through TL Lifeboat. I am mostly a lurker. I'm happy to meet somebody who deals with invisible disabilities, and I have connection tissue disorder and was dismissed, gaslighted for 30 years. Well, welcome. Good job not lurking. Welcome. You are part of a family, and I am here to talk about dealing with an invisible disability. Autism is an invisible disability. So is fibromyalgia. So is mental health. It's all part of that. So I hope that story laughed. I know my grandfather would have been like, tell the story, make people laugh. Yeah. Oh, he was a delight. He was an absolute delight. I so wish he passed away before my daughter was born, but I said, you just loved him. His name was George. He was just a delight. He just had the biggest smile you just could ever imagine. And he lived to live. He didn't let it stop him. And so, we'll get into, I'll probably do several shows on fibromyalgia, my experience. If you have it, please advocate for advocate for yourself, advocate for your doctor. You are your only advocate. And you've got to be stern and as for your own mental well-being. I will tell you, I did have, I'm glad, Elizabeth, I hope it got it people laughing. Disney was fun. We used to stay at the Polynesian Hotel, and it was just a hoot. So much great memories from that. But I did go to my doctor one time, and he threw 3 medications at me. I don't remember which one they were. And I said, well, let's just tell you, I'm telling you this, we're going to do it, but I'm trying each medication one at a time. I'm not going to put 3 different medications in me. And then decide which one is giving me the side effect. And so I did each one. I said, this may take 6 weeks to 2 months, but we're going to try one after another, and I did. I tried one. I called and reported what effect it did to me, called up, reported the next effect. Every one he threw at me, all had reactions to it. And he just said to me after 2 months, okay, we're going back. He said, I'm not going to take you off what you're currently on. It's working. But he said, we're going to try this. And sure enough, he looked at me and said, oh, we're just going to go back to what works for you. I said, thank you. Because I'm done we're not trying anymore. And literally 3 different medications, but I did not take them all at once. I took one, had a reaction, took another one, had a reaction, took the third one. And in between those, I waited. I took one and then had the reaction, waited a week, tried the next one. I didn't throw myself all of them at once. Hi, Lydia. Zelda says, fibro has destroyed several of my friendships for me because I'm unable to be around like I used to. I have saved my strength for work. And that is a real shame. But Zelda, you have friends here and you have connection here. That's really important, that we realize that there are people that maybe you don't know what they're going through. And we need to be sensitive and aware of that. And if you don't have friends that are going to be loving and encouraging, then you need to find new friends. Miss Dawn says, my first father-in-law was like that. He was in a wheelchair for a sense of tremors, similar to Parkinson's, and he let it stop him from nothing. He was also a jokester. My papu wasn't a jokester, but he just laughed. He just wanted to have fun. I think that's great. He let him, if that's his personality, go for it. Boy, do we need people in our lives that are going to make us laugh. Mocha does that quite often in our household. That's the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. She makes us laugh. This is dog, no joke. She sleeps in with my, my mom. This dog has to have its rub in the morning. It has to be rubbed and petted before it wakes up out of bed. Spoiled dog, I'll tell you what, has to have its morning, massage and good morning and look out the window and just have she's a little spoiled thing. So, just pay attention to, like I just said to my doctor, well, we're doing this my way. I'll try your way. I'll try your medications, but we're trying them one. Then I'll try the next one and the next one. And thankfully, I didn't have to wait too long for the reactions to happen with each one of them. They were pretty quick, and I was thankful. But if something's not working for you, by Mona, if something's not working for you, then you need to let your doctor know. you have to be an advocate for yourself. And I have also the perspective of having a daughter who had autism, and we did choose the route of having her on medication, appropriate medication. And so I have that aspect of it. And it did make a difference, as well as getting her a service dog made a huge difference. Match says, I hope that's okay to call you Match, because I don't think I can say that name right. My dad had ALS, and my mom was so overprotective and worried at first. I said at the same point, it's unlikely, but he might outlive us all. We just have a likely time frame for him. My grandfather lived till he was 69 years old. My grandmother, that was his second marriage. His first marriage, his wife said, you have MS, I'm out of here. And my grandmother and him found each other, and my grandmother was not a nurse, but boy, she took amazing care of him. She taught the nurses stuff. And I'm sorry to hear too that he has ALS. ALS and multiple sclerosis, they're hard, and caregiving for somebody is difficult. And that I've caregived for my dad who had dementia. I've, helped with my grandfather. I've taken care of my daughter, and caregiving can be exhausting. That's certainly, I think, something that we can talk about as well. How do you make sure that you are making sure that you're taking care of yourself? I remember saying to Captain Calhoun, don't remember, you cannot fill anybody else's glass until you fill your own. And we need to make sure that we're filling our own so that we can take care of other people. And that makes sure you're getting your rest. We had in Florida at the time, we had respite care, and I used to have them come in the house to help assist with my daughter's care. And they would come in, and all I needed to do was just play with her, just play, and just, do stuff with her, watch a movie. And I would go in the bedroom and I would just close my eyes, and they say, you can go out, you can go do this, and you can go. I want to go to sleep. And I go in the bedroom and I would sleep 2 hours, and I felt so much better. Self-care and respite are critical for caregivers. Yes, they are. When my dad had dementia, when we first moved to Cincinnati, I very much wanted to, my husband's family, who has a much bigger family than I do, they were meeting at a relative's house for Thanksgiving. And it was the first opportunity for him to be with his entire family in years. He had been in Florida. They were mainly up in Indiana and Ohio and so forth. And so I said to my mom, my dad had the availability to go to respite care during Thanksgiving. Let's put him in respite care. And you, Mom, are coming with us. Of course, it was just like a 2-hour trip over from Ohio to Indiana. You're coming with us and celebrating Thanksgiving. And she did. And that week when we were going to be in Indiana for a couple of days, she was at home, and she would just go back and forth, and she got rest. And she was able to caregive and kind of recoup and not be in the house for several days by herself with no assistance. So that was something that I just said, Mom, we're doing this. And she was very nervous about doing that, but she was very grateful that she did. And so that was another thing that we did that was really, really special. And it was really nice for my husband. I'm glad we did. And I'm glad that my mom was there and able to help. But, he went to a respite care for a week and then came back home. And it was really, really, it was helpful to her and I felt better not being there, not being able to assist her. And I was very, very glad that we did that. And I made her do that. Original Ann says, I am 9 months into working full-time and caregiving for my father and my mother with Parkinson's hates that she needs me, but they rely on me. It is crashing me at times, but our options are limited. I understand. I was very thankful. My dad served in the Navy 6 months or 28 years, 6 months and 10 days. He knew that verbatim. He was a first class petty officer in the Navy. And he did a majority of his time in Naval Reserve training duty. And we were by Cherry Cola. He did that. And so he was able to get, because he served during, he didn't serve in the, over in any of the wars, but he served during wartime. He was able to get aides to come in and assist him in care. And that was really nice. That was so helpful to us. And so that is a service that, he was able to obtain and we were able to obtain for him, which was very, very helpful. So if you are somebody that has a relative, check in to see if you meet the requirements for aid independence. And he was able to have that. So thankfully, we were able to keep him home for the majority, except for the last 2 weeks of his life. He never had to go into a nursing home. I find that a blessing. But if he had to go, please realize, do not beat yourself up. If you are at a point where you're caregiving for somebody and you cannot take care of them anymore, find the very best situation that you can, and just keep checking on them. And but you've got to take care of yourself, and you can't exhaust yourself if you are at that point. And if we had been at that point at any point where we didn't have the aides coming in to assist and he wasn't under hospice care, we probably would have done it and had to put him into some kind of nursing home, which would have been difficult. But thankfully, we didn't have to, which I was very, very grateful for. My husband is not in good health. I'm going to fix that because that's better. I was cutting my Blessed2Crochet sign off. My husband is not in good health, and sometimes I have to step up as his caregiver. It's exhausting. I know it's highly likely that one day I will be here, full-time caregiver, and I'm okay with that. Well, our prayers are with you, Miss Sunrise Dawn, believe me. Mary, you're hitting a lot of great topics. Very helpful and resource listening to you. Well, thank you, Zelda. I'm glad. I'm happy. I have a lot of them. I'm sure that I will probably be doing some research. Some of them, but just some of them are just my life experiences. Raising my daughter and, dealing with autism and dealing with, having to take care of my dad with dementia and, having to go through a lot that I've gone through. There is an artist called, her name is Mendisa. She passed away on the 18th. There is a song that I listen to. It's called Overcomer, and that is the theme song of my life. Boy, I've been planning since Friday to kind of do a show on about being an overcomer. And I thought, I turn around a lot. I'm just bound and determined to be an overcomer in my life, and I've had to be. It's not very easy, but let's try to overcome some things, but let's try to do it together. Let's try to do it through the power of connection. It is just so, so powerful. Matt says, we brought in a home care service for mornings and had him short-term care after a surgery. It was necessary for us to do. Then you do what you need to do. Absolutely 100%. And Jason P says, I was a caregiver to my grandmother for 3 years, exhausting, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world. She knew that she was loved. I wouldn't change a moment that I did for my dad. Not a moment. One of the coolest things and why Elvis means so much to me is it was always a connection for my dad and I. And even when his he wasn't there, I could put on an Elvis song and he would just dance in his wheelchair. He would just dance and I could have him back for just a second. So it was a very, very Absolutely. Well, the word overcomer. I am telling you that song, anytime I think, man, I just look at, I'm an overcomer. 100%. I've had to overcome a lot and I'm still overcoming. Well, let's do it together. It's a heck of a lot more fun. And let me encourage all the ripples that are coming on here. You all can do it. Let's stand behind each ripple that comes on. They're doing something that's a little bit nerve-wracking. But they're doing it because they have great respect and love for the boat. Miss Sunrise Dawn says, we eventually had to put my first father-in-law in a nursing home, and he actually blossomed there. He made friends and reconnected with old friends. His aunt was always there, so he was hanging out with her. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. If we had to, we would have done it. I'll tell the story about my dad in pieces. This is a journey. I think every ripple that comes on, there's a journey that has to be said. We're on this journey together. If you kind of think of the boat, each one has its own ballroom, and you're coming into my ballroom, but I'm on the lifeboat boat. And to me, that holds a lot of responsibility, and it's a great honor. I was telling Spanx, Captain Calhoun, to me, it's not about, I'm not looking for this as the money end of it. I'm looking because getting on here with all of you is just amazing. It's great connection. I love it. There's some things I want to do. I want to get back to the boat. I want to be able to say here, here's some from this to be able to help people that need medically assisted treatment. I'd like to be able to eventually, through my channel, give out blessing boxes. Going to buy yarn, which is one of my favorite things to do. I will always take yarn, except for wool. I can't do wool or any kind of that. I can do acrylic and cotton. Wool and me do not mix with my allergies. But I love, my husband knows, just drop her off at a local craft store and let her just have fun in the yarn department. But I want to do blessing boxes, because if you realize that sometimes making a blanket or getting yarn can cost like $60, it can be expensive at times. And so I want to be able to fill a blessing box to somebody that maybe is on a low income, that if I can send them some yarn and maybe a adult coloring book and some crochet hooks or some knitting needles, and they can do something, and they can turn what they've done over to organizations that take hats and scarves. There's an organization that will do blankets for dogs and cat shelters, and that's what I really want to do. I want to just give back on my channel and through here, and I think that we can do amazing. And it will be certainly something I talk about, is what is in your toolbox to deal with fibromyalgia or a chronic pain or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be crochet. Believe me, and you need to know when you don't do even though I do wonderful crochet, this is not my skill set in the round. But you need, if it helps, find something. There are tons of Dollar Tree YouTube channels. Go to Dollar Tree. Does it matter if the craft falls apart in 6 months? You spent 3 hours making it. Even if it's just taking little popsicle sticks and making something out of it, gluing them together. Your mind is not on here. It's distracting by something you're doing in front of you. It does make a difference. Well, thank you, Zelda. I have a very big heart. It is part of who I am. That's all I can say. I know what it's like to have fibromyalgia and hurt, and I know what crochet has helped me with. But you've got to find something. And if you go to a craft store, any major one, there are tons of things you can choose from. Tons and tons. Jason says, I choose to play Scrabble with GMA to keep my mind sharp. It is a great pastime for her, for your grandma. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know what? This has been a delight. let me encourage all the ripples. It's better the second time around. You're much more comfortable. I know that I'm going to be working with Spanx. Oh, here's just another announcement. If you do have a YouTube channel, I have posted in the Lifeboat Facebook group to please, it does not have to be connection related. I'm trying to get all of the Lifeboat family YouTube channels in one place for Captain Calhoun, as well as for all of the crew members. So we can go and support and subscribe and get them, to be able to do things like blessing boxes, and be able to do that. I know the arrow went so quick. It's like, where did it go? I just hopped on here. Went whoosh. But that, let's help them get there. But if you do have a YouTube channel and you want it listed, please go to the Facebook group, find the post. You can do the little search button, type in my name, Mary Jones on there. And I just need the channel, your handle on the YouTube or handles. Hi, Maritza. Your handles and what your content is. If it is connection, maybe your main content's food, whatever it is, and your sub content, and then whether you are on in a Pacific time. So if you can put that information, I'm trying to get a list for Spanx. We are also trying to get everybody on a Google. I'm trying to figure out Google Calendar so that we can put everybody that is going to be a Ripple on a Google Calendar. Oh, well, thank you, Brazy Girl. I love you all too. 100%. 100. Yeah, that's a good thing. The channels will need to have a history of content loaded. Yes. So let's just all support everybody. All the ripples that are going to come on here. I just want to get a list of, a list going to help in any way, shape, form that I can. That's what I'm trying to do. So, yes, a master list. And we will get it going. So if you go that post, if you're not on Facebook, my email address is on my channel. You can go there and email me and just put, channel list or something like that. Yeah, they're working and I'm excited. I'm so excited to see it. And we just need to be here supporting everybody. Thank you all for hopping on and getting to know me a little bit. Maybe the next time I'll come on, I'll talk about my fibromyalgia journey, and we'll start that route or that journey next together. And sometimes we just need to come on and just chit chat, have some fun, and maybe come on with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or what have you. So, thank you all so much. I'm so glad that I could do this again today and get the ball rolling. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Come back to the boat at 7, on the 7s, and we need to support Captain Calhoun, and support everybody here. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed day. And remember what I say when I end my shows, but I will do it here too. Stay connected, y'all. It is so, so important. Have an amazing night, and I'll see you on the boat. Bye.
That was pretty neat, huh? Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Go show Mary some love on her channel, and I got a show to put together, so I'll see you guys here in an hour or two. Much love.